Time moves fast in this dance we call the past. Mental health, a fragile thread, but we'll find strength. Let love spread, life's a climb. Just take a step, rise above, find your breath in the darkness. We will find a shining light to free our mind, to free our mind. Self-growth blooms like petals bloom, shedding tears will heal the wounds and the chaos. Let's find peace, embrace the pain, let it release.
Relax your mind. It's divine time.
What's good, what's good, what's good? It's your boy Downly Divine. We are going to be covering matters of the heart, generational curses, and bloodlines today. I've got with me Mr. and Mrs. Sigma Uno. Oh, y'all so adorable. Mr. Impossible and Mrs. Bianca. I got to read it. Queenie, mother, ruler, and servant to all in existence. Now, I saw that. I was like, yo, what the world, bruh? I was like, that was cute. All right. Now, with it, I always want to start off with a quick little introduction. So, Mr. and Mrs. Sigma Uno, if y'all can go ahead and give us a little bit about y'all real quick.
We are here as people experiencing a spiritual life, just to say the least.
To say the least. Okay.
Our area of understanding is allowing people to be people. Just don't want to drop a whole lot of titles. You know what I'm saying? Something's keeping it simple.
I mean, you could just tell us a little bit about you. You ain't really got to drop titles.
I am a counselor for young adults. I also do a lot of spiritual work. Done a lot of spiritual work. The spiritual journey's been amazing, and what do you call it? When somebody squeezes something out of you. It's been purging. It's been purging and wonderful at the same time. It purges all the negative stuff out, and at the same time, it teaches me so I can change accordingly. And this is me understanding myself and my avatar. Or excuse me, my God self and my avatar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mrs. Sigma Uno.
I am, let's say, a youth advisor / parent to most. Just here to have grounding and consistency.
Okay. Bianca.
I'm young. I work in mental health, and I divine currently exploring this meat suit, and I'm gonna just ride it out, and I'm grateful to be able to experience this.
Mr. Impossible.
Peace and prosperity to all. Impossible Prince King God, consultant, author, poet, a man of God, a God of man. And we here to share that love. That's what I do.
Yeah. All right, bet. And I feel like I give my introduction all the time. I'm just gonna say hello once again to everybody. Thank y'all for stopping by. For anybody who stumbles across this panel discussion podcast episode whatever you want to call it. I just think of it as passing knowledge that reaches those that it needs to reach. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of just speak it into the topics that we have for today. And the first one that we're gonna end up hitting on is matters of the heart. I wanna see how we're gonna go down the road of the topics that we have for tonight are three very interesting topics. And I'm not gonna lie, when we kicked it off, I was like, how's this all gonna flow together? I was like, okay, I was like, we got this because everything ties in with one another. And just like how we all like to say, you know what, we all are connected. I feel like everything in the universe is connected. So no matter what topics we choose, they tie into one another in some way. So I was just like, I want to see how these are going to tie in together. With it, we have Mrs. Sigma Uno. You said you are the mother of many. I want to hear you started off with matters of the heart.
Manners under the heart, in what parameter?
What are the matters into your heart?
Oh, you let folks tell it. Ain't nothing in there but Stone Cold Austin.
All right, well, let's start with you shattering the beer and jugging it and smashing it in your head.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
You better give us some type of direction with this thing.
I know,
man.
right? Go ahead and hit us with a stone cold. Go ahead and hit us with a stone cold stunner. That's fine.
Stone Cold.
And the thing is, it's not that I don't care, again, but people are here for guidance and direction for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So if you came for guidance and direction and somebody gives you guidance and direction, don't come back for more guidance and direction if you ain't took the first direction that you was given.
Well, I mean, you think about it, because you give children guidance and direction, they keep coming back. I mean, sometimes
Again, A, B, C. D, you can go out on your own, but don't come back at me unless you done A, B, or C.
Well, let me ask this question. You said that ain't nothing in your heart but Stone Cold Steve Austin. First of all, white dude in there, but I'll that part.
Stones and Cold.
Let me ask you this. The love that you have for Mr. Sigma Uno. I'm trying to figure out how to word this so I don't get punched in the face later.
It's all right. Just word it any way you need to.
How did that change from where you thought that you would be for the rest of your life? Or not, I would say for the rest of life. How did it change from what it was, what it felt like before?
That's not a good question. And the reason I say that's not a good question because we are not, this is not new. This is like,
this goes back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
not the love you have for him, but the love that was in your heart. How did it change when you and him? Oh, yeah, see, this is what I'm like.
I understand what you're trying to say. I get what you're trying to say. You're trying to say.
I remember speaking to you in the past, and it almost felt like you gave up on love.
No, what I said is it's got to be somebody I already know because of who I am.
Yes.
Who I am is not for breaking in nobody new.
I know that feeling.
Because they're right.
They can't be new. They can't be green. They can't even be new bamboo. No. I've got way too much substance and way too much going on. I can't guide youth and have to, at the same time, tell you the same thing in a different language. I'm going to need you to already be past where they're at so I can get them to where they need to go. So I needed somebody that had the same foundation I did or stronger. Otherwise, it was never going to work.
All right.
And it's something because I realized the same thing. And the truth of the matter is, like we were saying earlier, this is 30 years. I felt this way since I met her, and that was middle school. Then reconnect in high school. Then a series
Of unfortunate
events along the way that led us both in different directions, and then the connection again. And when that happened, I said to myself, I'm done. I'm finished. My kid's mom, that was, oh man, that drug me through the mud and back, just because I have children. You know what I'm saying? So trying to maintain a negative relationship with a person that is, because we have children, with a person like that, it was like, I'm done. I'm finished. This experience is enough. And I want to say a week later, I get a call. I get a call from her, which I thought she was literally out of town. I thought she left the state, and I was like, "What? I thought she left the state." So we met up at Starbucks, and look, the same sparks were there. They've always been there. I looked for her for quite a while, and didn't find her. And then it was basically going the same way. After this connection, I told my kids, I said, look, this is Mrs. Lene. This is the woman that I almost lost. This is who I'm going to be with, regardless of what. And because there's a cosmic history in addition to this physical thing that happens between us. And that created, I almost want to say there's a deeper word than love when it comes to the type of relationship we have. It is. Wow. It's a lot deeper. It's a lot deeper. It's definitely a real silent understanding between us, and there's no tripping over or wondering. Maybe once or twice I may have a question about something, but in the back of my head I already have the answer because I know how she operates. I know who she is. You see what I'm saying? So that's and I don't worry. I mean, with others, I kind of worried like this is going to end ugly, but that's not the way it is for us. It's this again. It's the silent cosmic thing that happens, and that's the reason why we're doing.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Truly is. Truly is. Truly is.
Mr. Impossible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot now. I know you got your queens. You got a big day coming up for you as well. Let's talk about
matters of the heart. I mean,
like that background.
When it comes to matters, oh yeah, man. I'm just telling you. Matters of the heart, man. It really just comes down to love at its essence. As I stated on the last one, love is an essence. It's an action. It's something that matters to you. So if your heart don't matter to you, then there's no love there. If that individual, king or queen, God or goddess, if she does not matter to you or he does not matter to you, if there's not an energetic cosmic connection there where things can go bad, quote unquote, but things can go bad, but that's the pressure. That's the thing that keeps. That's the thing that refines you. So we're not limited to an individual making a choice, quote unquote. Because if I live in harmony, I don't make no choice. I'm in a state of love all the time because now is now.
Yeah.
So what matters in my heart is what is my love at right now in every intention of my life, every action of my life. Those are matters of the heart because love is most essential to me. So if we're not dealing with love from the essential aspect, matters of my heart, it don't matter. Because I deal with love from an essential place, that's why matters of the heart is everything, because it is right now.
Okay. I got a question for you. So when you were younger, doing the things that you used to do?
Who?
That
Was
thing
the
you
heart
do.
Go
something?
ahead.
Was the heart something that you mattered about?
Nah, man, because I had no heart and I had no love. You have to remember, I told you that love was my greatest fear. So how
Yeah,
can I love something that I fear? You see?
but when it
So
came down to it,
I never
you didn't even love
did
yourself?
that. Hell no. I thought about committing suicide twice. Hell no, I ain't had no love for me. The only thing that stopped me from pulling that trigger, from looking at the barrel of that 9 millimeter, is my God asked me, "What about your daughters?" I said, "Well, they would be better off without me," because I didn't understand the matters of the heart. You understand? So in the at that particular moment, I thought killing myself would be better for my daughters. When I came out of it and I realized my presence, my now, it impacts my daughters and my grandkids in ways I can't even explain. So no, I didn't have no matters of the heart. No, I didn't have no love, and I didn't give a fuck about living. Now I love, and life is everything.
Mm,
That's,
that's I
that's
like
deep.
I like that. I like that a lot. I'm glad that you love yourself now. I'm glad that you're here.
Woo! Man,
It's a,
I ain't gotta look in the mirror to
yeah.
see me. You know what I'm talking
Right.
That is good. That is good. That is good. So with it, how did you overcome that fear that you had to get you to the point to where you are now, to where you are loving yourself and you, from being around you, you can feel that you have so much love for the things that are around you as well. You're a very mindful individual, and you're always, I mean, you're one of those people who literally will stop and smell the flowers. Like,
about? Check.
I'm like,
For real,
get up
for real, for real, for
with
real.
me, my guy. How did you go about doing that? What was the hardest part?
Ooh. Self-discovery. What we talked about on Talk That Crap.
Yep.
It was the self-discovery. As I stated before, matters of the
Right.
heart is the self-discovery that got me to where I am right now. So it was the reading, it was the meditation, it was understanding my own culture, it was going through a cult, it was going through alchemy, it was going through all of these mental shifts in my life, these paradigm shifts what nobody really talks about. So like the rites of passage were just paradigm shifts within your heart and mind. Those the rites of passage were the matters of the heart because it gave you the will to do more or to become more. So you didn't do things based upon what you wanted. Those were the right. Those were the principles that you live by. So when I learned to live by principles, as me and Walt was texting earlier, and we was talking about my art, when I started to live by the principle of my art, yo, I shit. Why
Yeah,
not? Why
I
not
was
love?
asleep. I was asleep. I woke up and I saw that the text messages. I was like, okay, they talking to each other. I was like, I'm just gonna read through this. So when I saw
Hmm. Hmm.
he
Yeah,
had asked for critique, and he told him he was like, look internally, not externally. And I was just like,
yeah. That's my
That,
God, yo. I don't connect. When I connect with God, it's like me connecting with God. When that connection happens, it's automatic. You know what I'm saying? That's a matter of the heart. We're connected by the matter and the frequency of the heart. We are all connected by love. We're not connected by nothing else. We're not connected by ego. We're not connected by desire. We're not connected by financial issues. We're not connected
mm-hmm,
by none of that shit. This is a spiritual cosmic connection. That's a matter of the heart. That's what love is.
that's it. Wow.
dang,
Wow.
bro, dang,
Yeah. That's what's up.
That's how
buku,
I live. I mean, that's how I live. You know what I'm talking about?
buku, bro. All right. I'm about to move on
Yeah.
to Bianca real quick.
All right.
Can you hear me? Hello,
Hi.
hello.
Yeah,
Hi.
I can hear you.
Now with it, we talking about matters of the heart.
Hmm.
Um, I ain't even got no questions for you. What does matters of the heart mean to you?
To me, I would say it's more or less understanding first your own heart
Mm-hmm.
and understanding, how to how to make sure you are able to live like he was saying, to live and move in love, because matters of the heart can turn you into a villain real fast.
Mm.
And just being able to understand that everyone else has a heart as well, that can be
Mm.
affected by my actions and how I move. And I mean, I'm technically an adult, but not for real. And and to be completely honest, I'm still figuring out my own heart itself. Like, I just
Mm,
really truly learned what loving myself was less
Mhm.
than a decade ago. Like, just
Mm.
even the concept, not the practice, but just the
Right.
concept.
Right.
And
check.
so it's just constantly growing, eh, forever. Oh, and just making sure I'm cognizant of other people's heart
Mm.
while being
Hmm.
cognizant of my own, and
Mm.
feeding my heart, and if I can feed into others, doing it without draining my own too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel you
Mm.
that's
there. I feel you there. That's what's
Mm.
oof.
That's just it.
Sheesh.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Can I can I add something?
Yes, yes. By all means, go ahead.
For me, there was a time that the whole system, when you get stuck in the system and the stereotypes, we get stuck into believing that everything in this world is patriarchal. That is not true.
Mm,
When I
oh
begin to
Lord.
right.
understand that there is a there is a matriarchal force that is more prevalent, and that is the reason why everything grows. It made me feel better because someone was trying to help me kill the matriarchal side of myself. I was raised by women, and I saw the strength of women, but the world it shows this patriarchal system, and it makes you believe that that's all there is. The silence, the women that are silent, they women that move in silence are the strong ones. They're the one that's holding everything together. You wonder why they can take so much. Oh God. When we say the beginning and end of all things, we always think patriarchal. That is not the case. They bear children. They bring life into this world. And it's like we're here almost as a byproduct. Almost as a byproduct. But if we don't recognize the matriarchal side of anything, then there's no love at all, period. There is no love.
Right.
You have to understand that that's
Yeah.
where it comes from. The nurturing, the nature nurture, like Miss Sigmund said the other day, that's what they do. They nature nurture, and they
Yeah.
just stand and watch while men destroy themselves, and they're constantly building under that or around that. So my full understanding when it came to love was from the women that raised me, whether it was tough love, whether it was a hug, whether it was feeding me, whether it was teaching me how to do things, or letting me go so I can learn and come back. That all happened from the matriarchal side of all of this. So I have to acknowledge that.
Can
Yeah.
I add
Bless
something,
on that. Bless on that.
please?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm,
So I can understand that, but what you just described to me was a sufferer,
Hmm.
someone who
mm,
you're sitting on top of their shoulders while they're
Mm.
holding you up in all your foolish and folly. It
Hmm.
is
mm.
very important to often move in silence, because
Mm.
we
Check.
live in a patriarchal system, and men have
Mm.
already destroyed the planet, and it's getting worse.
Mm.
So having to sit and suffer in silence like our mothers and our grandmothers did, they
Mm.
had to in order to survive. It's just simply
Yeah.
how it was. So it is
Mm.
good to pay homage to them for what they've
Mhm.
done, but I don't
Mhm.
think that it's too good to perpetuate the notion of the silence, and
Yeah.
Agreed.
not believing that our world isn't patriarchal based, because that matriarchal energy that you spoke about, that energy
Mhm.
is suppressed and oppressed by those around them. while they're carrying the burdens and suffering. And
I agree.
oftentimes, many women, based off of what they were raised to believe, they just like, well, it's okay. It's okay.
Mm,
Because I got my family. I got my man.
mm,
He doing this. I'm protecting my
mm,
children. So I'm going to go along with his foolish folly because that is my
mm,
man. And now look at the state
mm,
of our community. The
Damn.
state of our
mm,
community is in shambles
mm,
because women
mm.
sat and suffered in
It's
silence.
okay. Yeah.
So while I am grateful for you, giving honor to the women that raised you,
Mhm.
because we do need each other in that balance. It is necessary, but we
Right.
cannot pretend as though women aren't the oppressed party here.
Oh
Mm.
yes,
That
I
strength,
agree.
yeah, that strength is often like because it has to be, not because it
Yeah.
necessarily wants to be.
Right.
May I add on to that as well?
Go
To
ahead,
add
bro.
on
I
to
gotta
what
wipe
you
these
said,
tears.
Queen.
Mm.
To add on what you said, Queen, you're right. We do live in a patriarch system, but that matriarch energy is here now,
It's
and that
here, prevalent,
motherfucker is on fire.
prevalent.
And
It is.
it is awakening the goddesses right now, even though we may have been traumatized, even though our women
Right.
have went through some horrible situations. And like I told you before, I know that when my mom and them raised me, my auntie and my uncle and them raised me, they raised me out of love, but they ain't know they was raising me
Mm.
in ignorance. They ain't know that.
Mm.
Mm,
Right. Right.
They loved me, and
They
they
did the
thought
best they
that love that
could.
they was giving me was to help me upright. So a lot of times when we dealing with these quote unquote patriarchs and matriarchs energies or
mm,
systems or symbols, we have to
Mm.
understand that they are just symbols. So we are the one that can define the symbol.
Mm.
mhm,
So if we define the matriarch system right now as back, it is being as command, and it's back right now on energy, and it's back on high, then yeah, we know that
Mm.
we have been cultivated in the patriarch system, of course. But that ain't where we at right now.
No,
That ain't where we at right now.
they're not.
No, we are so not there because, especially my generation, oh, you laugh all you want
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
My generation
Nah,
saw
you
grandma.
already got
We
them ready
saw
to cue
mom.
the mayonnaise people. The
yeah.
mayonnaise
Mm-mm,
people, let's go.
These people.
mm-mm.
Go ahead.
We saw grandma, we saw mom, right? So
Right.
those who paid attention, those who were learning the lesson, okay, they went one of two ways. They went with that suffrage and long suffering, and it's all gonna work out in the end. To God be the glory and all that. I,
Yes.
I'm not gonna knock that. For some people, that works. Okay. When I tell you, people around me thought I was insane. This man, not this man, okay, literally almost not made it. Okay.
Mm.
I stopped everything. I stopped everything, and silence was golden. I can't, there is not even a purity level available for how golden my silence was. To the point where people, he was there, had no clue. He thought I was insane. You need to that Negro need to be gone. He probably did need to be gone. However, my mindset is this, okay? It's easier to maneuver in silence and get things done
Mhm,
than it is to shout from the trumpets and the mountaintops what you fixing to do. Because the second
Agreed.
mhm,
somebody knows what you fixing to do or what you think you fixing to do, you automatically meet unnecessary forces. Okay. So
mhm,
I let it act up,
Facts.
do whatever it wanted to do, say whatever it wanted to say, was loud, and everybody talking about your, oh, he loved you. Whew, Jesus. No, mm-mm, no, no, we're not going to, we ain't going to do no long suffering. When I said I'm done, I mean I'm done. No, we done, whew, y'all. Had a best friend. We packed up, took the kids to school, packed up an apartment, moved to a new location, and left half the furniture in his mama's front yard. No,
That's how you
no,
move right there. That is how you
no.
move right
Picked the
there.
kids up from school
Get
that
up
day.
out of here.
They was in a whole new room, in a whole new, No. Mm-mm. Was we going to I'm fixing to leave you when you come home from work? This ain't gonna be no.
Sorry.
No, silence is golden. It's not just for the movie theater. If you need, if you trying to get someplace with the least resistance, you do that without an announcement.
Mm.
Ain't no need for no public
Yeah,
announcement. We don't need. Mm-mm. Nope. But you also, again, with that matriarchal, you need to been within your network. We whisper well. We whisper in silence. We can communicate a whole scenario with our eyes from across the room and not
yeah,
be
that's true.
surprised when somebody show up on your doorstep. Uh,
That's real.
Because we
That's real.
suffered in silence and we watched the suffrage in silence for far too long. Now, out of that, you get those that can move in silence, but we also brooded up this loud, obnoxious, some people call them ghetto fabulous.
Black Ink Crew.
There's no happy medium. All I can hear is old girl from the movie talking about Byron.
Oh, the sexy reds of
Iran.
the
Oh
world.
God.
Okay.
They're the
The
ones.
sexy reds of the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's been a shift.
there's no, it's not even a shift. There was no fine tuning. As women, we get to go one way or another, or you stand still. Those who stood still and they're there with grandma and mom in silence doing the suffrage thing, their kids is wilding out and looking at them like, you stupid. Why are you, why? Because there are other options. But when you don't have those other options presented to you in a format that looks like it's going to be productive or that is sustaining or non-life threatening, then I can see why some people will sit there stagnant as if there are no other options. But when, especially now, where we are now in society, there are other options. There are other options, and I personally am disappointed in the ones that took that extra fabulous road because things could be done so much more decent and in order without dragging him further down. Why you got to be going down the same road he going down? You didn't like the road to begin with, which is why you left. But you gonna follow it down the road extra loud, like he need a siren. He don't need no siren. I mean, he doesn't. And then you get those that will pour and pour and pour and pour. And I watched her, I think it ended up being a clip where the judge told her, you do not want to keep pouring into somebody who does not want you.
Mm.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And her response is, I do everything for him. Why doesn't he want me? What?
Mm. Mm.
It's not what you do.
Mm.
It's not, it was the matter of her heart, not the matter of his.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
You can't, you could, but don't be wondering why you're miserable when you don't, or you're not in a reciprocating relationship. If you are pouring, 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 and nothing is coming back into you, you need to stop and reassess some things. It could be
When
a season because there are seasons in relationships where some people have to pour, pour, pour just to get the person to where they need to get to, right? That's a whole different
Yeah.
situation.
That's
That's a
Barbara
whole
the
different
Builder.
situation,
Mm-mm.
right? But to pour, 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 and the person is not even capable of pouring back into you, that was the
Yeah.
situation that I was trying to avoid. I have no problem pouring. I have no problem giving. I have no problem doing. But when the rubber meets the road, it's gonna have to meet somewhere. We can't just.
be hydroplaning.
Right. You're right. And for me, it's understanding the history of all of this, which for us when we were growing up, the system of welfare when two parent families were suffering, were not able to make ends meet, and they went to the state for help. The first tool of division that was created was, yes, we will help you,
But
but
he
the
gotta
man
go.
can't be in the house.
That's actually not how that worked. A black woman went to the Supreme Court and fought for the right just to have a man, but what it was that he couldn't be in the home and you get support if you weren't married. So because a lot of people
Interesting.
didn't want the government in their businesses, they weren't marrying their women. And because they weren't marrying their women, they couldn't stay in the home. That is what caused the
Jay.
division because
My
men didn't want
parents
to
were,
put their names down on paper.
yeah, my parents were
Find
actually
I'll
married.
find it for you. Well,
My parents
sugar,
were,
that was the law.
my parents were actually married. My parents were actually married when, and I think there was four of us at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
In California, that's what they told my mom, that he couldn't be in the house. He literally had to pack up his box or make it look like he wasn't there in order for her to get the support. He would leave, go to my grandparents' house, I think for a time, and then come back to visit. But if that was the stipulation, then maybe she misunderstood, because my dad and mom were actually married. Um, but
Um,
seeing that, and then seeing a lot of that across, again, wow, if you could send that to me, I'd like to see it, because I didn't like,
mhm.
yeah, I don't think she understood. Maybe she didn't understand what they were
No, no,
saying
no,
then.
no. She understood,
But
and
see, but
she.
the thing is, I was gonna
Go
ask
ahead.
him, were they married at the time?
Yes, they were
Because
married
they
at the
may have
time,
gotten married. They were legally married.
legally married, legally married. They
Mm,
got married, and then after they were my mom was actually pregnant with my sister when they got married. Then after they got married, he worked for the government for a while. He got laid off from working for the feds. Then between that and trying to find another job, they didn't have enough money, so she went to the state.
Okay, booyah.
And what happened was, they explained it to us. They explained why he was
Mm-hmm.
packing up his stuff
And
and
he told you.
leaving and coming back. And then when he was there, they have to worry about somebody coming and checking, because they were checking back then. And so if they knocked on the door and
Okay.
checked and he was there, then they would drop him from support. That's what it was. That's how it was explained to us. And understanding that later on, realized a lot of people went through the same thing. That was kind of a breach of family structure. For me, it was like, okay, if she can get assistance from the state while he's not there, then which a lot of young women said at the time, what do I need him for? I don't need him. I watched a study, and this is me. This is when I was doing when I started my work for youth and young adults. We wanted to understand from the young ladies if they felt like they needed um, if they needed men or needed a man. And one explained it. No, I have my kids. We had kids together, but I don't need him. I get money from the state, and I'm going to school, and whatever her situation was. But it planted this idea in their head that they didn't really need men. Which, I mean, that was the shaping, I feel like, to create a society, and it didn't only happen to Black America. It happened to other nationalities as well, but was more prevalent in Black America because the struggle was already there. The struggle was already there. The idea of us supporting each other, like we talked about the neighborhoods before, how everyone was trying to support each other back and forth, households helping support households if they could. All of that would start begin to dissipate, because if you didn't have enough to support your own family, you couldn't help anyone else. Or we had a house full of people laying on the floor, some not working, some working. It began to look like a shamble. The only stable portion of our community at the time, which I didn't understand how it was, because my grandmother didn't work. I don't know. It's like food came from nowhere. I don't know what happened, but she was a cornerstone. My aunt was a cornerstone, and all of this plays on the idea of how people feel. If you don't have what you need, especially men, if you can't provide, and you are the stable minded person, and you can't provide for your family, it plays a bad note in your head. So you have to figure out any type of way possible to support and supply what your family needs. And that's how I feel. But it changes the way you feel. So it breaches this whole feeling of I love you, but my job is to support you. I can't just sit here and not support you. So when the things were changing, I guess they had Um, Forgive me, I can't remember the dates at this time when they started. God, where it was making jobs, making businesses hire black people. Affirmative action. When affirmative action started, which I honestly believe was a bad idea, they it changed a little bit, but it didn't change as much because of the way the treatment of the people when they started working there. I'm working here, but they're treating me like crap because I have to be here, and that was the my understanding was why force someone to do something that they don't want to do. It's only going to create a worse situation, which it did. It created a worse situation. So it's again, all of this stuff played on how people feel and how they felt about themselves and how they felt about the community they lived in, and all of this progressively got worse. And I'm not, and look, this is not giving anyone an out or for a decision they made, but at the same time, you have to understand if I'm pressured to take care of my household, I'm gonna do what I have to do. And if there's no provision coming into the household, you can expect an unhappy the other side of yourself to be unhappy. Your children to be unhappy because they're in a world of need now, and the lights might get cut off. And we've been in the situations, and that's when arguments start. The biggest problem between families or marriages is financial issues. Those are the things that begin to break down how you feel about each other or how you feel about how you're living. So I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. So
Oh,
you have to
okay.
be with somebody that's strong enough to deal with that. Go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So the actual case
I think I
itself
still
is
had my mic muted. I
Ken
had
V. Smith, 1968. That's the actual
Okay.
court case.
Uh huh.
Where the woman, she actually took it to the Supreme Court to strike it down. And I looked for any state associated statutes regarding the man in the house rule differentiating. Because sometimes like you have fed laws and state laws, and I wasn't able to find one. So, but I did find a situation where I think this might make more sense if there was
Hmm.
a married, able-bodied man, and if he
Hmm.
was not bringing in income.
There you go.
So, oftentimes, what it is they would
Hmm.
leave the home because they're
Hmm.
not making any money themselves. So it's
Right.
easier to just be out of the home
Hmm.
than to not get the because if he's able-bodied and he's not working or he refuses to work or for whatever reason a long period of time goes by to where this
Hmm.
man is not bringing in any income, the state is not
Right.
going to help if the man in the house is not bringing in any income, even if they are married. So then
Right.
married couples would also separate because their man just for whatever reason couldn't get or keep a job. So
Right.
maybe that could have been the case. But as
Right.
far as the married thing goes, they could get benefits as long as they were legally married.
Interesting. Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
so
That's
I have
interesting.
I wanna go ahead and bring it back. When
Hmm.
it comes, I know we were talking about not the burdens, but the weight that women would carry on their shoulders, and how down the line they were almost taught to be silent in a way. I want to roll into the next topic: generational curses. For the generational
Hmm.
curses, when it came down to matters of the heart and how you love, do you feel that sometimes that rolls into what ends up happening, what possibly ends up happening with your children or their grandchildren, your grandchildren, things like that? Decisions
Ooh.
that you that dealt with love. Because I was listening to something earlier today, and they were talking about karma and the way that karma flows to the next generation. It's not always that. Sometimes it doesn't always come back to you. Sometimes it may end up going to your children. Sometimes it may end up going to your grandchildren. I was like, huh. And it was a I think it was a Hindu philosophy. That's kind of how they think in that religion. The way that karma comes back around. Sometimes some karma does not always make its way back to you, the individual. Sometimes it goes to the next generation, but it still always comes around. Just might not be exactly to you. So when it comes down to the generational curses, I kind of think of that kind of like karma as well. I mean, there's
I hmm I agree. I totally, wholeheartedly agree. And that's where my position as their mother, especially in the situation that I was in, was to ensure that they understood that the actions that were taken, the things that were going on, were not acceptable things. I did not accept those things. You do not have to accept those things, right? And the karma rolls around, especially when you look at the big picture, especially in my situation, is he turned around and had more children. But unfortunately, they're all girls. So now it's going to come to one of his children, one of his daughters is going to meet him. It's not going to be mine, but one of them will. Now, if he will be there to see himself, I do not know. I do not know. But I know at least myself and one of his other baby moms, it won't be our daughters. Not ours.
Hi. What do you have?
Yeah, no.
For me, it's I have a question though, with regards to curses. Is when you talk about karma, is karma associated with a curse, or is a curse separate from karma? It's so, and from what I understand, karma is based on something that you do, and it's if you've done to a person, if you've hurt a person, it's whatever you've done to someone is coming back to you, right?
And that's how I see it.
Curses, I believe, are something spoken on a family or spoken on a person because of something that they did to someone else. So is that synonymous, or?
And the way that I look at it is for every action, for me, I'm like, for every action, there's an equal or greater reaction. So if someone's speaking something on you, is that still not them putting karma back onto you? Or they're trying to put something that they feel onto you in a way, right? So I mean, it's like they're trying to, how do I say it? It's not coming back to you naturally, but I guess you can say it's getting initiated. So it might end up being put on you. Does that?
Well, if somebody is literally speaking those words on you, it's because of something that you've done to them,
most likely,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's still a revolving door. If it comes back to you, that karma is yours, right? If it skips you and it goes to an attachment of yours, that is now a curse. The best way to even, oh God, I've been with little kids for far too long.
One thing that I learned,
the movie Holes.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
Okay.
Holes or holes?
Holes. Digging holes.
Yeah.
Digging up.
All he had to do was
all
come
above.
back. Yes. All he had to do was come back and carry that woman up the hill. But his
Madam
father,
Giovanni?
his great-great-grandfather, all of them guys
They're suffering.
were suffering. Every generation of male in that family suffered because that one didn't come back. But then the last generation that was alive at the time ends up carrying the grandson up the hill, which ends the curse. Sometimes it's you just didn't do what you were supposed to do. Somebody's gonna do it. It should have been you,
But you're gonna feel the brunt of it until it's actually done.
but y'all gonna feel the brunt of it until it's done.
And see, that for me, that's where I realized that the movement of our family was gosh, it was almost halted, any type of movement, because of things that my grandmother had done, my great grandfather had done, all of these things that we had to go search for and try to end. And we've ended pretty much of all of them, but there was a series of things that people say that they don't realize or do that they don't realize is coming down on their children, and wonder why our family is in a state of complete suppression. And it's happened that way. I couldn't stand for it because I know I'm suffering for things. We saw it with our own eyes, me and my siblings. We're suffering for stuff that we didn't even do. What the hell's going on here? Exactly. And it was like, wait a minute, our life is going to be nothing because of something that somebody else did? Oh no, we got to change that. And I couldn't accept it. And I when I talk about shadow work, I mean to the Akashic records. I went in depth on all of this because I got tired of of tired of this upliving, living up
Mhm.
in a high area, and then all of a sudden the rug is snatched from up under me. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And all of us were suffering that at the same time. And we came together. We were like, what the hell is this? I'm up in one moment. I can go for 2 or 3 years up, and then all of a sudden, the carpet is yanked from up under me. And it was a curse. And the person that planted the curse was spiritually getting joy from it. And I'm like, how is this happening? We fought it. I fought it. I tried to involve my brothers and sisters in it, but they didn't understand it. But when I tell you I went all war, I went all war against it. I went again. I yanked Akashic records. I went I went deep. I asked questions. I sought out the contract holders. I went that far because I was tired of suffering for the things that somebody else had done or said.
I
But
don't know
yeah,
why I'm such a comical individual, but it's interesting. I found it funny that we started talking about generational curses. All of a sudden, you got into the shadows and got sinister. But
I mean, but that's a
impossible.
part of it, right? That's a part of it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean literally, like you're in the shadows. Mr. Sigmuno's in the light right now. So I'm just like, where is it? The man's over there looking like I am Batman. But anyway, impossible. I want to hear your take on what a generational curse is and how you battled them. Because I know you. I feel like you went through some.
I've been cursed, but I don't have generational curse.
Mm-hmm.
So I had someone that actually cursed me. The thing that we call generational curses,
Yes.
hereditary, and all that shit's ignorance.
You said it's
Because
ignorance.
are you hell yeah? Are you
Okay.
telling me that my mama on purpose cursed me?
I don't think it was on purpose.
Okay, so then we're saying that's ignorance. My mama
Got
didn't know
you.
what she
I
was
see what you're
doing.
saying. I
My
see what
dad
you're
and them
saying.
didn't know it. So the thing that we're calling generational curses are things
Mm-hmm.
that we're repeating as belief.
Okay. When you believe in something so much,
See,
it becomes true.
well, if you're saying I have generational curses, don't you believe it?
When you believe in something so much, it becomes true. When you
I'm asking the
kind of
question.
like
If you
kind of
say
like with
I
matches. They're
have
like if you believe.
yeah, if I'm just asking a simple question. If you say I have generational curses, do
Hmm.
you believe?
Well, but you're claiming it. So
Yeah.
Okay,
you're
so
saying I
you
have.
gotta
So
believe it. So there you go.
yeah.
How can you live outside of your curse with something that you believe?
So you're
How
saying
you
that
live
if you
outside of that?
so what you're saying is the best way for the world to get rid of generational curses is to walk outside of it, not to even believe that you have one. So in all honesty, it's all what I'm taking from this is you're limiting yourself by believing you have something.
The all is mind, the universe is mental.
The all is mind, the universe is mental. Writing that
That's a
down.
law. That is a law of the Kabbalion.
Mm-hmm.
The all is mind. So as long as you thinking and you're thinking from your idea of being cursed, because we think from our ideas. So if you're thinking from your idea of being cursed, and that's a generational thing, you may pass down general curses to your children and not even know it.
And that's that ignorance you're talking about.
There you go. So no, I have been cursed by individuals that I have broke the
Mm-hmm.
curse on. But as far as me repeating the quote of a generational curse, nah, I ain't
Yeah.
got them. And shout out to you because in this book of reversal magic that you let me read, it expounds upon that because he speaks
Yep.
upon when you're speaking words to yourself, you're
Mm-hmm.
condemning yourself to the conditions. So as
Yep.
long as you saying I'm dealing with generational curses, you damn right. You just cursed yourself.
Facts on facts. Sorry, I'm just gonna finish writing down this. Universe is physical, but that
Universe is
I
mental.
I oh,
Universe is mental. The
oh
all is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mind. The all is mind. The universe is mental. So everything that you're thinking about when it comes to curses or spells, we speak spells every day by the words that we speak.
Words are
I'm
power.
gonna say it again. We speak spells. Every letter coordinates to a number. Every number coordinates to a frequency. We're speaking in mathematic frequency every day by every word that we use. We just don't understand the words that we use.
And that is our ignorance, right?
I'm back to that.
Going into how do you spell the word. But anyway, yeah. We can get a little we can get deep on that. We can get deep on that. We're gonna circle back around to that. Well, matter of fact, we'll talk about spells on a different one. I think that'll be a good one. With it as well. With it.
Whatever.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to talk and then trying to type something completely different. So give me 1 second.
Okay. All right.
Bianca just fucked me up.
Sorry, sugar. I was just,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
sorry.
But no, I'll just answer that question real quick. I like to put the person on who's speaking, so that way the attention is on them when they're talking.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like I feel like that's the best way to have eye contact with the individual, since instead of just having it where how we are right now. So if you're
Mm,
talking, people could be looking at anything, but it's like if you're talking directly to this individual, this is how I can have that eye contact with you. So and any of the listeners that may be listening as well have that eye contact. I mean,
okay.
if you
Just
if you
what
if you feel a type of way, you're like, no, don't look at me. I
no,
cannot do that for
it's
you.
not a no. It's not a no. Oh, can you not do that for me?
Okay, all right,
Like
easy.
if you
See,
can just if it's just a separate thing for me, because when
yeah,
it's just I start talking, then like boom, my face is there, and then I'm looking at myself, and I'm looking, and then I don't know.
you good, you good, love. Thank you for
Like
informing me. I appreciate that. Hey, the only way that I ever
yeah,
know
it
these
was
things is
just
by
Bianca said,
letting you know.
"No,
I can't read
leave me
minds,
in
you
the
know.
leave me with everybody."
Yeah,
yeah. Let me
I can do
yeah.
that for you. I can do that
I
for
like to
you
see
any day.
humans. I like to see humans as I'm talking to them. I don't want to look at myself. Like because I was like, it's not like one of those things because I look at myself. Like I
Oh,
actually practice and learn to do that. Like being able to look at yourself and say affirmations in the mirror and stuff.
yeah.
Hey, if you don't practice that, y'all practice that because it's so good for yourself. But it's just when I'm talking to others, I
Mhm.
want to see their reactions and like your head tilts and you see what I don't know. You get what I'm saying?
And that's this. I feel like that's the same way. That's the reason why when a person's talking, I put it on them so that way everybody can see their mannerisms that they have. Whether they some
Mm,
people talk with their hands, some people like move their head, so that way you actually really can you feel like you're talking to the person, you know.
okay, I
But
feel you.
yeah, I'll leave you off. Well, I won't leave you off, but
No,
when you're
Kamsamida.
blow you up, I
Thank
won't blow you.
you.
But
Thank you.
rolling into you. I mean, hey, I still got to use the words impossible. Generational curses. What what do you what do, I'm just doing a simple question. What does that mean to you? Because I mean, after listening to what Impossible said, but I'm like, you know what? I still want to hear. I still want to hear Miss Bianca.
So oh no, I was getting ready. I had to put you said I had to put my little cup on my but so with generational curses, I really do think it is more of a can I go before him because he gonna say stuff and then
Yeah.
I don't
Okay. All
know
right.
if it's
Okay.
actually my answer or if it's his
You know, like
answer
following behind you, Impossible. You're
because
like,
I
man, he
can't
making me question myself.
yeah, like, is it my answer? Because I think generational curses are a mental thing too. Like
yeah, yeah.
Aries, like my affirmations are I am. Like that is like
Mhm.
I don't want to say like if I don't feel good, I'll be like, my back hurt right now. That means I need to stretch so it won't later. Like I do stuff like that. So
Okay.
that's why I'm like,
Right.
hey, go like, even if an intrusive thought comes in, if it because you never know what you like. Everything you say is spells. That's why, I don't say that morning thing no more. I say, and people, they start feeling about a certain way about, grand rising, because all the fuck boys say it now. So I say rich rising. I say
I
opulence
say
rising.
divine day.
I say,
Ooh,
you see what
I
I'm
like
saying?
that. Rich rise. I'm
I say
stealing.
rich rising. We need abundance in here. So I
Mm-hmm.
tell people rich rising, or I'll be like, soul rising or something. But so I do
Mm.
believe that words are curses, because I've been down the little rabbit holes, and so yeah, I try to be careful with that. And so if you're just constantly saying, "Oh, we ain't never made it out, and we ain't never did this, and we ain't never did that," and you're speaking, your children hear that, and so then that's how they end up with the mentality of just like, well, you know what? I can play this ball and shake my ass to get out, because I know that's
Mm.
going to work, instead of thinking of, the long routes and, getting
Mm.
education or starting businesses and stuff like that. It's like, what's the easy and quickest way where I can just still be myself? And I know a lot of people have issues with code switching, but in the environments a lot of us was raised in, we just genuinely can't be ourselves. And
There
if
you
you
go.
weren't placed in a situation or an environment to where you had to learn to parlay with the Waititi tribe.
The Wahiti tribe.
Oh, it's
So I eat
The
Waititi,
Wahiti
Waititi
tribe.
tribe, the Waititi tribe.
Oh
If you
gosh.
haven't been in a situation where you have to parlay with them, it'll be very hard to grow without stereotypes.
Right, right.
True.
I agree.
That's true. That's
So
true.
these generational curses now, and like Mrs. Wait, what is it? Somewhat?
Stigma uno.
Sigma Uno.
Mrs. Sigma Uno was saying earlier about you have to pay that karmic debt. I am
Mhm.
probably going through things because of my family. I am probably experiencing things because generational curses is not just karma in the universe, in our mental. There's also a scientific aspect to it, like the
Mm.
trauma and the things that we go through. Like they we've been saying this for years, but suddenly they came out with about Holocaust survivors. So I
Right, right.
it's
That,
super important for them, but people who experience foolishness for over 400 years, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Mm.
So
yeah.
Mm.
it also is a genetic thing, and so I have to like be able to, even though we got this ADD, that's okay. We're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna stabilize
Mm.
that into our genes. So then when that baby
Mhm.
come, we ain't having anxiety around here. We're not having,
Right.
maladaptive, behaviors around here. I You
right.
might have to be the person that breaks that generational curse, even though you don't speak it into existence, because it could be a karmic debt, like she said. Because other people put stuff on you because your family member didn't do something, baby. That ain't got nothing to do with you. But somebody got to fulfill it though. Because
Yeah.
that energy is you everything can't be a return to sender. You can't return to
Mm.
sender everything.
Not
Some
everything.
things you got to just go through, like she said. So it
Right.
is what it is, my boy. It is what it is. But we got to break these generational curses because the state of our community, brother.
It's-
Right.
I can't.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. And so, and that's for me. That's I get what you're saying, brother Impossible, but that is a goalpost for most in the communities that we come from. You see what I'm saying? That's a goalpost. When you get to that goal, when you get to that place where you are, that's where they're trying to get to a place where, hey man, this is only a thought. I don't have to ride with it. But the way we grew up is
he said,
the place. The way we grew up, where we grew up, how we were taught, where we lived, the things we saw, the things we experienced, the trauma, the trauma passed down from generation to generation. All of this is a thing. My family on my mom's side is three generations outside of slavery. So we saw what they were affected by. You see what I'm saying? They beat us because of the way they were beaten with extension cords, buggy whips, and water hoses. That's the way that they discipline their kids. So all of this is passed down. Now that part I stopped. I couldn't do that to my kids because of the way it affected me. I have other siblings that actually went ahead and did it the same thing, but I can't do that. So that's a change, and that's pulling away from what they have done. And then I started trying to train my children differently. Now, the book says spread the rod, spoil the child. I understand the reasoning why they said that, because there are some that'll need tap on the backside to remember what I'm telling you so you'll understand, or life experience. But I could not follow that trail. Now both sides of my family, my dad's side of the family is completely different. They were well to do. My dad was supposed to marry this woman that was well to do as well. He met my mom. My mom's side of the family was completely, like she was saying earlier, the ghetto fabulous. That was my mom's side of the family. So you got those two worlds that connected. And it was a struggle for my dad because that's not the way he lived. And it was a struggle for my mom because she didn't understand how my dad was living. And so there was like a clash. So you can imagine how they were raised, independently, and how I was raised are inside of my DNA. Completely inside of me. Both of them are inside of my DNA. So my fight for abundance, independence, and full understanding, and talking to your children, that all came from my dad's side of the family. That other side, my mama's side, it was the generational curse. I told you earlier in an earlier an earlier podcast, that my grandmother and them, they named themselves witches because they didn't care what Christianity was. They were raised a completely different way. They said we're witches. So all of that stuff that we're talking about, the curses, like when my grandfather was married to 3 women at the same time, my grandmother went on a hunt for him, trying to find him, and she found out he was in Chicago and he's married to 2 other women. She went to go put a curse on him. That was her way of saying, hey, you screwed me over. Now you're going to have to live with it. But what she didn't realize is we're his bloodline. We're in his bloodline. So if you're cursing him, you're cursing us. You see what I'm saying? That's the way it was. So in her rage, that's what she did. And now, again, I can't even count how many aunties and uncles and cousins I have not met. But at the same time, it's like this clash, and this rolls right into bloodline almost. This clash of bloodline was like, I made my sister sit there all the time. They're like, how do I feel like I feel? How am I able to articulate the way I can? When I go to my grandmother's side of the family, it's like talking to country folk, and it's like being in the deep South, literally. And they were like, y'all talk funny, y'all talk white, y'all talk weird. How is that when I'm from that same bloodline? You see what I'm saying? But that's a split and divide for me. But at the same time, those are the things, like you were saying, those are the things that were circulated into my mom's side of the family. They were witches. If you had out with them and you sent her a letter, my grandmother didn't like you, she burned the letter on all the ends and sent it back to you. That's the way her life was. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we learned from. That's what we were taught from. So to get out of that mindset and to understand that love, peace, truth, freedom, and justice is supposed to be the forefront of your life, not hate and despise, not shooting your own kids, not beating your kids half to death until they're bloody. Right. All those things are trapped in my DNA because that's what they did. And that's how they felt like things needed to be. And it's, again, I understand both sides. I understand what you're saying, Brother Impossible, and I understand what Sister Queenie's saying. It's that DNA. It's that DNA. It's breaking from it. Mm-hmm.
I have a question, Mr. Sigma Uno. Oh, go ahead. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
All I wanted to say is I never denied epigenetics.
Mm-hmm.
I never denied what was laying in our DNA.
Okay,
what I'm saying is, since we know it's epigenetics, since we know that we can reprogram our DNA, since we know that we can vibe to a different frequency, since we know principles right now, we can teach those things to our youth right now and not have that same cycle come around. So I disagree that they cannot get to this point where, quote unquote, I am now, because I started after I was 33 years old. You want me to tell
No, like I said,
you want to wait till our children 33? Hell
no,
no.
it's not. No. But like I said, it's a goalpost. For me, it's a goalpost. Mm-hmm.
That's why I said what I
It
said.
should be a natural way.
got to
It should be a
determine what's
natural way of
acceptable
living.
ahead of time.
Right. I hear what you're
It should be a
saying.
natural way of living.
What I
And it's for
wanted
me.
to add.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
What's
ahead.
up, Queenie?
I was saying what I wanted to ask you, Mr. Sigma Uno, because you brought up about your belief,
Mm-hmm.
and like with the sparing the rod, but all of it is for interpretation anyway. So if
Mm-hmm.
when you put your child on punishment, or you or you teach your children to talk to you instead of hitting them,
Mm-hmm.
that you take away the car keys. Because I mean, I did get spankings growing up. I mean,
Right.
my mom ain't never shot at me or beat me bloody. I don't know what y'all had going on, bro.
Yeah, this is stuff.
But that is
Never
wild
have.
to me. But
Yeah.
but on a serious note, but I feel like that is also, not sparing the rod, because it's not like you're
Mhm.
allowing your child to have their way. You're not
Right.
allowing your child to
Exactly.
talk to you any kind of way. All of those type of things are up for interpretation,
Right.
particularly when it comes to belief systems and belief
Well, there's a
Abrahamic
lot. Yeah.
religions, especially when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to Abrahamic religion. So unless you just allowed your children to run amok and
Mm-hmm.
not do what they were supposed to do, just because you didn't put your hands on them didn't mean that you still weren't adhering to your
Right.
beliefs book. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I hear what you're
So
saying.
yeah. So I didn't. So it wasn't a question. It was a statement. I was wrong. My
Okay.
apologies.
No, no, you're good. And look, I want to say this. I want
It
to say
wasn't a
this because
question. Oh.
I want to say this because the things I state and what I speak, I try to understand the audience of the people that we're trying to reach. You see what I'm saying? So if they can understand where I was and where I am now, it makes total sense that they can make a beeline and try to understand or ask questions about how to get there. You see what I'm saying? So when I do groups for my young adults, I don't start at the top because maybe that's something that they can't attain right now. You see
Of
what I'm saying?
course. Of
I read
course.
the Kabbalah, and I understand exactly what you're saying. But are they at the place where they understand that those words are mathematic or it's science? They're not at that place. So if I can talk to them until they get to that place, and so they begin to ask questions, then it's leading them down the road that they need to be in. You see what I'm saying? They need to be on. That's what I'm trying to say. I understand exactly what you're saying, Brother Impossible, and I know exactly where they need to be. I do,
Mm-hmm.
but talking to them at a level that I know that they're at, especially the neighborhood that I came from. You see what I'm saying? I can't just go in
Yeah.
and checking
Definitely.
information and then I'll be the know-it-all that they don't want to hear. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to talk to him. You
Yeah.
know it all.
Yeah.
No, I want to talk to you where you're at, and I experience this with my brothers and sisters. We have the same conversation and pass them books along and everything. I don't want to talk to you no more. Don't come over my house. You act like you know it all. I don't know it all. I'm just trying to help you get to a better place. So I had to dial myself back. You see what I'm saying? To talk to them about where we are so they can be reminded and then say, hey, there's a better way to do this. We should talk about it sometime. Not all at one time. My groups have started over the last 3 years. I could say maybe 6 other people that I've been working with over the last 6 years have begun to elevate a different mind frame. So we have to start a different group for them. You see what I'm saying? And so that
Yeah.
group is understanding more and they're learning more and they're asking more questions. So when it gets to a place where they start talking about the spiritual stuff, like 2 of mine said, hey, I was reading about this. What you think, Mr. Walt? And I'm like, okay, well, this is a separate group from everybody else because somebody else could be offended. But it's gradual. You see what I'm saying? They're learning and
Yes.
they're getting to a point, and that's what I mean. It doesn't mean that I don't know it. It just means I know it, but I understand where my folks is coming from. You see what I'm saying?
But
That's all I'm
this
saying.
is the dynamic of the panel. That's
Yes.
why
Yeah.
the dynamic of the panel is what it is. So
Exactly.
you're going to give what you need to give.
Right.
Queen going to give
Mm-hmm.
what she need to give. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
give what I need to give. Ira going
Right.
to give what he need to give. So that way that we'll reach in all different type of aspects. Because there may be someone that just where they are, they just started. There may be
Right.
somebody in between and they saying, I don't really understand right now. And there may
Yeah.
be
Right.
someone that's of an adept that says, hey, you know what? I like that right there too. So
Thank
we
you,
cover it all,
Impossible.
and that's
Thank
what this
you,
is about.
Impossible. And thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. I mean, it's funny, like when he was when Mr. Sigmund was talking, I was like, when I come onto the panel, I go straight to student mode. I'm like,
Yeah.
because I'm not where some of y'all are, but I am
Hmm.
also further than where some people are who may be watching. So with
Right.
that, I'm like, in order to be a, they say, what was it? The saying was, in order to be a good teacher, you must first be a good follower.
Yes.
I'm like, with that,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Definitely.
I'm not
Right.
always in your mindset. I know when I'm very knowledgeable on some topics, things like that. So I know when I can go into that teacher mode and be able to pass knowledge and everything, especially if I'm knowledgeable
Hmm.
on that topic or whatever it is
Hmm.
that in some things, I'm like, okay, cool. That's why I got my notebook. Take notes, look into that, learn more about this because I know that right there is something I'm lacking on that I know I definitely can apply into my life. And then I'm like,
Right.
with this platform, what I want to do is anybody who comes on, there's something for everybody. Because I mean,
Right.
you have some podcasts and you have some platforms where everybody, like both of the people who are speaking, sometimes you sitting there like, what the fuck are you talking about? With me, I'm like, I'll get patient. I'm sitting here in 15 minutes, like, good, 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 you know. Like with this, I love it because it's like we have different mindsets. We have some people who are religious, some people who are spiritual. We have some people who are
Hmm.
just trying to figure it the fuck out, you know.
Hmm.
And I mean, so when it comes down to it, it's like, yo, you got this, and you got this, and I don't know exactly what you're talking about. This is what I know, and then come to find out, those two kind of correlate, but you just didn't see
Hmm.
how they actually came together, you know. So now it's like
Right.
you're
Right.
somebody else's mind, and then their viewpoint isn't changing, but they're seeing how what you're saying makes sense.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm.
I mean,
Mm. Yeah.
that's
Yeah. I get it.
that's my goal. I want to reach those who need to be reached. Those who have that mind to learn, those who have
Mm.
that mind that are trying to understand things and just don't know
Mm.
exactly what to look for or what they are trying to understand. Because if you're not aware of something, then you don't even know that you don't know it.
That's
Right.
right.
Right. Right.
Can I
You
tell this
don't know
one
what you
little
know.
clip from Anthony T. Broaden? It was from the
Okay.
Secrets Beyond Secrets, and he
Okay.
was talking about what you don't know. He said they are
Mm.
your known unknowns, and he compared
Mm.
your known knowns to that of a thimble.
Mm.
And then he said you have your known unknown, and he compared that to an 8 ounce glass of water.
Mm.
Then he compared your unknown, what you don't know that you don't know that you don't know, to a body
Mm.
of ocean.
Mm.
So understand the
Mm.
thing that you know is a thimble. And that thing that you don't know that you don't know that you don't know is a body of
It's
ocean.
the body is enormous. Yep, I get it. I get it. I
It
get
wouldn't
it.
be, I don't think it would really be healthy to know everything
We
or
couldn't.
even to
The human
seek
mind
to
can't
know
take it.
everything.
Bro,
Yeah,
just
the
thinking
human
about
mind,
it, my head
because
started to hurt.
no, seriously, I mean, because the way I approach things is I'm just like, be yourself and then
Hmm.
take what you can take and leave the rest.
Right.
Because every day, like I said, the journey, every day I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to get a different perspective. I'm going to school one person here and then I'm going to
Right.
learn something from a person there. Like that's just
Right.
Right.
how like life is going to be
Mhm.
because Goat Joe, I don't know if y'all watch anime, but Goat Joe from JJK, his
Hmm.
domain expansion is infinite void. And
Yo,
his domain expansion is infinite void. And it's literally like you're getting every piece of
everything.
all information all at once.
All the time. Oh
You're
man.
frozen. You're just
And
frozen.
you're
You're just like,
frozen because your brain can't. Oh,
yeah.
cause I love Gojo Sensei. I'm
I feel like
sorry.
you're just thinking of his eyes right now.
Okay.
He's
Hey, listen,
what?
what platform is that on?
It's.
Exactly.
What
I'll
platform?
show you impossible. I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
You don't know who
It, it,
Gojo is?
hell no. I
Hey,
know
hey,
who
he ain't
Goku
about
is.
that life. He ain't about that
You
life.
know,
I'm gonna introduce you.
I'm a
I'm gonna
Super
introduce you.
Saiyan. but I don't know these other
You got
people.
no, you got to put him on JJK, honey.
I will. I will. It's
All
Jujutsu
right,
Kaisen.
man, hook me up, man.
Jujutsu
Hook me
Kaisen.
up.
I'll let you know. For any for any anime nerds, any anime people out here, they're gonna be like, oh my god! Like,
Yeah,
oh, speaking
I'm
of it,
lost.
That
I'm
is
lost, people.
what
Sorry.
that is,
let
daddy. I
me.
mean, he a Kit
Side
Kat
note,
right now,
completely off
but
topic, but on topic with what she just said. I saw your video when you was lusting over the characters,
I
and
feel
you started
like,
singing loud as hell, girl. But anyway,
of course I am. Gojo is daddy. What are you talking about? He had a traumatic childhood. He worked through himself to not become evil, to heal his generational curses. You see what
yeah.
I'm saying? We don't know if he's the strongest because he's Satoru Gojo or if he's Satoru Gojo because he's the strongest because he also got the six eyes. So, you know, he had to learn about himself. He trying to help the next generation. That's daddy. That is
I mean,
daddy.
at the same time,
I
the
mean,
oh, since we talking about bloodlines, that's a good example. I'm sorry.
Right.
We talking about
because
bloodlines, and to
people
top
was
it all
trying to
off,
kill him since he was
the
like
clan,
6.
yes, the clan that he grew up in. I'm like,
Mm.
ooh,
People
ooh.
was
I
trying
mean,
to
the
take
way
his
that
life
Mm.
his
since he
family
was
was,
from the day
he
he
ended up
was born.
unlocking. Yeah, but yeah, all right.
Wow.
So yeah, we're gonna.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put you on. I'm gonna have to put you on. Impossible. This is gonna be a cartoon that you're gonna enjoy. All right.
Yeah.
I
Shit.
know you just didn't
I
call
hey.
JJK a cartoon.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Look,
Cartoon,
I knew that was
cartoon.
gonna happen. It's an anime. It's an anime. But I'm not sure if he knows
It
what an anime is. So I
So get it
be
um
right.
as as
I'm
possible.
just saying
I'm
because
not
I
even
would let a
involved right now.
child I would let a
I'm not
child
even
He said
watch a
I'm
involved.
not even
cartoon.
involved right
I
now.
would let a
Mhm.
child watch a cartoon. I would never let a child watch JJK. Like,
Yeah. The
Okay.
whew. All
that's
right.
why that's why I distinguish
Say
This
no more.
between
animation. This
cartoons.
animation. Is that
If
better?
it's animation, yeah, like
Animation.
Animation.
Don't.
anime.
No children. No children.
No, not for JJK. I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
Definitely not season two. Definitely not season two.
oh, definitely not season.
Woo, the
Okay.
amount of
Okay.
blood in
All right.
that one. But yeah, definitely.
I
I'll
mean,
put you on that.
genocide.
But I mean, going back to bloodlines real quick, and I mean, we've been having a good conversation with the
Mm.
bloodline. Man, he still got me stuck on this. God damn you, Queenie.
Bring it back, brother. Bring it back.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Now I can't get this motherfucker's blue eyes out my head. Every time I
Yo,
blink, I'm seeing him just
YMO.
looking at me, just like
Yo,
I'm trying to get
YMO.
this nigga.
Mm. Gojo, bruh.
May
Gojo is
may
gonna
the
have the effect
gods
on
be
you
with
as
you
well.
and give you power and focus.
Gojo,
I'm sure
Gojo
she's
is gonna
getting
have
her
the same
domain
effect on
expansion, bro. I'm
y'all.
seeing the stars and the galaxy and all the planets around me now. Dang. Oh, but yes, going back on to bloodlines. I love one again going into how everything ends up connecting. That's crazy. Like I didn't even think about that at the time when I was watching it. But with the bloodlines, I'm like the things that you are born into, the way, like for example, the Japanese culture. I can speak on that. With the Japanese culture, you end up having samurais, shoguns, and all that. The way where they where they were brought into, they end up groomed into taking over that next position. I'm like, even like when it comes down to the military. Well, the military, that's not a bloodline. Well, sometimes it is, I would say, because like my dad, it was like an E9 in the army. People see me, and if they know him, they see me in him, and then now all of a sudden I have a high expectation of shit that I don't even know this motherfucker, to be honest. So now I'm just like, I don't even know what you're talking about, and why do I have to? Why are you thinking I need to be doing this type of thing? I'm in the same state as him. I've run across some people who know him, and they're like, "Oh, you look just like such and such." I'm like, "What's his name?" They say his name, and I'm like, "That is my father." But with it, the thing that gets me is being born into something. I feel like that does not. Well, yes, I have to say I feel because I don't know how other people may feel. I feel like that's a burden in itself because it kind of makes it to where you cannot, you may not want to do those things that are being pushed up on you. Everything all right? I see Mrs. Sigmund shaking her head.
Oh, you want to know something I heard on I saw it on Instagram yesterday,
Hmm.
and it's totally off topic. I'm sorry, but because you said I feel like that, and this lady was saying the moment you move into like, or I feel as if it could, or you feel like something's you're no longer feeling, it's a thought now. It was just something that because you did it, I just thought about it.
Yeah.
And so I was trying and I was like, oh, I should implement that. But yeah, once you add on to I feel with all this like and because you're intellectualizing, so it's no longer just an emotion.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I never looked at
I
it
was
like that.
thinking
That
because
was weird to me.
that's actually how I feel because I can't speak on
Mm.
everybody else.
Oh, no, 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 no. I understand what you were saying. It was just word vomit because it popped in. So yeah.
Blah. Wait, what the heck? Oh, okay. All right, got you. I
Yeah.
was like, wait a minute. We still have the same amount of people. We have more people. I see what happened.
It's because they on different devices,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. I was just like, wait, what?
Apparently, he doesn't like to share.
You know, the,
Dang.
the phone
Dang.
camera was too small.
Somebody got to
Hey, look, I
Dang.
take up space, okay?
Mr. Sigma Uno say he need his time in the light, honey.
He
He
said
don't
he need
need
his
you.
own space. He need his own
He need
space.
his own space.
Well,
Okay.
hey, for that, I'm gonna have to like when a person is talking, I'm gonna put it on them because we all look like ants at this moment now.
Y'all don't
That
look like ants to
I
me.
think there we go.
Oh.
There you go.
Hey,
We're not we're not ants no more.
I haven't had this many people on at one time in a while. I forgot I can. There's things that I'm still experimenting with. Like for example, I think I can do this. There we go.
Oh, that's cool.
So with it,
Like a Zoom meeting.
It's not a Zoom
It's
meeting.
I'm
like a
wearing pants. Okay, I'm wearing pants. Let me stop. So yeah,
Not
with
a
it, I'm
Zoom
like, yo,
meeting.
we about to. We have hit our topics. We're about to flow into a conversation. Let us speak. There, we have reached that part of just kicking it. Damn, everybody got silent as a motherfucker.
oh, I
I
can tell
mean,
you that
bro, we can
Kendrick
kick it in so
dropped
many
again.
different ways. So
Yeah,
the last thing we was talking about was bloodlines, right?
Hmm.
bloodlines. Okay,
So
gotcha.
when we was talking about bloodlines, do you really understand the bloodline coming from a cosmic place?
Yeah, that's the question.
So the
My
bloodlines, we're looking at our family members as just being a bloodline, but there's a cosmic bloodline.
There you go.
The thing that we are disconnected from is our own cosmic awareness.
Yes, sir.
We don't believe that we're gods and goddesses.
Nope.
Somebody, even when someone tells you you are god or goddess, you got to battle with that based upon your own ideology.
There you go. That's
Something
it.
that was taught to you to conform you. So in your bloodline states exactly who you are. That's in your DNA.
DNA.
So
Okay.
sometimes people go through a lot of stress because they're doing things outside of their bloodline.
Mhm.
Your bloodline defines you.
Mhm.
It's the thing that connects you. It's that very frequency of who you are. That's
Mhm.
and our ancestors. If you was a farmer, your son was going to be a farmer. Your son's son was going to be a farmer. And if you was a warrior, your daddy was a warrior, your granddaddy was a warrior. You're going to be a warrior. Your son going to be a warrior. If you
Mhm.
was a king, you learn how to be a prince till you become a king. If you was a
Mhm.
queen, you had to first learn how to be a princess. It was all about the bloodlines. You were
Mhm.
taught principles and how to complete your task and purpose in the bloodline. But we
Mhm.
have got so caught up in all the things that we want to do that we have lost our connection with the bloodline.
But
Because now
sometimes you
everybody
have
want to do
to
whatever they
though.
want to do.
But you
Say it
have
again,
to though
Queen.
sometimes. I say sometimes you have to lose your that bloodline type of routine because I literally was watching an anime a couple days ago and it was hunters. They were a family of hunters. And this family
Mhm.
of hunters, they had one son, he could not hunt. He was trash at it. But you know what he was good? He was a strategist. He built them a trap that literally could aggregate, separate to only capture males. He put up herbs to keep away women and the baby boars because they need to, be able to keep repopulating. But he had to be different from his bloodline. I'm different from my bloodline.
And
No,
you
but
still
what
in the
I'm
same bloodline. It was just
no,
that
but what I'm s- no, but what
You
I'm
leveled up.
saying is he had to level up the situation. He built that as just because his people never let him do anything. They just thought he was this weak little crybaby who liked to read. Because he was not hunting, he wasn't in the field, then he literally was while in the home with that bloodline separated from them. And it was a giant rift. And then by the end of that episode, his father came to realize I failed my child because it was so much potential that was in him to actually help the situation, but he only looked at it straight from what he knew as a part of his bloodline,
exactly.
being out in the field hunting. So sometimes you do have to divert from what is common in your bloodline in order to elevate. I mean, like Mr. Sigma Uno said, to elevate your bloodline, to
Mhm.
get them out of the field hunting and in the plant, just getting people to work for them. You can't always stick to those bloodline ties because a lot of them wasn't healthy to begin with, to be honest.
You
Now,
have to
when
know
I'm
where you
talking
want your
about,
bloodline to
again,
go.
I'm not
Right.
talking about just your physical talents and bloodline. I'm talking about a
Mm,
cosmic bloodline. So even what
mm,
you're describing his alternative within that bloodline. It was still cosmic.
mm.
It was something that they never did. They thought he was weak. They thought he couldn't do it, but it was still in his blood. It's still in his blood.
And
Well,
see,
I
that's
mean,
the point.
he
Oh
couldn't
God.
hunt. He
Go ahead.
couldn't
I'm
hunt
Go
sorry.
ahead.
though. No, I'm just saying he couldn't hunt. There was no part of him that could go out and catch it. What?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. But something else activated in his blood. So he couldn't.
I got you. I got you.
So okay. So Queen, let me ask this question: because he couldn't hunt, was he still a part of that bloodline?
I mean,
Yes.
you have no choice but to have the blood, yes, of the
Oh,
line.
okay. That's all. That's all I was. Okay, we good. We good. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know.
And the thing is, this is your responsibility in your bloodline, especially if you know the history of your bloodline, to change the flow of that there river. If a dam needs to go up and something needs to deter it, needs to go a different direction, guess what? If you're the one that realizes it needs to go a different direction, you are the one that is going to change the direction in which it needs to go.
Mm.
It sounds like a hard task, but it isn't. I had the benefit of my people wanting to know, they wanted something different. My great grandparents lived to 108 and 104. Okay.
Oh my
They were
God.
sharing on the land that the slave master, they where they worked. Okay.
Okay.
They were given that land, they sharecropped it. They had my grandparents, right? Who got to not farm, they got to work at the country club and go into the military, right? That's the next step better. You don't have to stay on this land. Yes, we have this land. Yes, this land is workable. It can provide you a future, but this is not the future that I want for you, right? So they turned around and produced attorneys, police officers, things that typically Black folks at that time wasn't an option. So here I am, and I have got grandkids. You know what? What do you, baby? What do you want to do? The world is your oyster. Your imagination station is what we're watching right now. That's my job to make sure that that can be manifest.
Hmm.
How would you all say you do connect to the necessary parts of your bloodline? Because, like, for example, I can't remember where I heard it, but I have heard somewhere where someone said that like your talents and your purpose, they're somewhere in like your bloodline and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So like for example, somebody might be just want to be a singer, want to be a singer, want to be a singer, baby, you meant to be a dancer. Like you just like to sing, but the dancing is what you need to be doing. But you just end up in theater everywhere. But so I'm just saying, but like because it's what is it? It's called it's in some record somewhere. The Kakashi
Akashic
record.
records.
Thank you,
Akashic record.
Jesus.
Akashic
Yes.
record.
I was like the
The Akashic records.
Kakashi.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You went full Naruto.
well, because I know I try to tie stuff to remember things. I try to tie it to something common I would know. I knew it wasn't Kakashi, but it sounded like Kakashi. But what in finding your purpose, like how, but like how your family produced lawyers and you see what I'm saying, officers and all those type of people, like in time in staying with their bloodline, like they didn't sell the land, did they? Like, was there something they could have done with the land? They kept the
We still
land,
own it.
right?
We still own
Huh?
it. We still own
Well,
it.
see, that's and so how do you make sure that you stay tied to finding the importance of that or finding your purpose or your importance? Because me, it like for example, myself inside of my mind is just you do not want to be in the hood. You don't want to do this. Your mama told you go to school, be different. But what if that's not my purpose? Because yeah, that got me out. And so I'm not popping ass. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, what if some type of ass popping is part of my purpose and I don't know it? Like
For you
not
to be a
ass
man,
popping, but do you get what I'm saying? But do you but do you get what I'm
I see
saying?
what
Like
you're
what
saying.
if
I see
okay,
what you're
okay,
saying.
because I'm trying to put the thoughts together, but then for some reason after I said them, they make sense to me, but at the same time, they don't seem concurrent. But
No, I just
yeah,
look. I
but
get what you're saying because this is. It's. I go back to the time frame where people actually watch.
in the background, because she
I
in the
go.
background. Yo.
I just
I
saw
go.
that. I was like, bro. Oh no.
I go back to the.
He needed his space
I
five
know,
inches
right?
away. 5 inches away. He needed his, is that what
Queen,
married people do?
let him
When
be,
Man said,
Queen. Let him be. Let him be.
he stuck to her like glue, bruh. I thought you needed.
Yeah.
you are mine.
Yeah. Let him be, Queen. Let him
you
be.
ready to work, Cletus?
Oh my god! But basically, for me, it's you're right. And again, like I was saying earlier about how my bloodline is split, and finding worth or finding purpose in my mother's bloodline was harder to find, and it was more on a spiritual level because of how powerful they were as spiritual beings, which anyone in the downline or greater than me. So there were supposed to be torches that were passed with that same information. And you looked and you saw people like we've seen my cousin is a generation above me, but she's younger than me, right? So it's myself, it's my cousin Edie, it's my cousin, oh God, Denitra. Denitra is the fourth person, the third or fourth person in the downline that actually remembers this and shows signs of that heavy spiritual belief or that spiritual ability to see people without standing next to them or knowing where someone is or feeling the pain of someone. All of that
Yeah.
stuff came out in her, but it skipped like 3 or 4 generations. It skipped her mama, it skipped her grandmama, it skipped a whole bunch of people, but she's still part of it. Now that's four generations. My cousin is the generation above me, my generation, the generation of my cousin Edie and Denitra. Denitra is the last generation. She's the fourth generation below us, but it's the bloodline is still the effects of the bloodline are still there. You see what I'm saying? So regardless of whether you see it in everybody, that thing that it's supposed to be prevalent and it's supposed to actually be what you're supposed to actually be doing, it skips until it hits you. Now the hard part is finding someone to understand you and to cultivate that and to teach you what's supposed to be next and to teach you what's actually going on and to teach you to pay attention and understand and to help you get to a place to where this is a mode of operation and not just a thought that passes every now and then or frequently. So it's something that is recognized in the child and taught in the child. We had crash course in my household. We were inundated with the stuff that was happening spiritually. So it was hard for us not to see it. So myself that held on to it, my other sisters and brothers kind of shied away from it because they felt like it was a hard thing to live by, and a hard thing to deal with because of the pain involved in it. For me, I was like, look, this is where I am. This is what I have to do. In addition to that, my dad's side of the family and me was like, bro, you're a king. Walk with your head up. This is who you are. You're not poor, you're rich. That was my dad's side of the family. You see what I'm saying? And they were, when I tell you my grandfather, World War III veteran, commendated, I don't know how many, 3 or 4 times. He was a Mason. My grandmother, the same thing, military. My dad worked for the federal government at a time, then worked for the state government after that. My aunties worked state and federal government. All of them were that type of people. So when I fell into, go ahead.
Did you say World War III veteran?
Yeah, my dad's dad.
Bruh, World War III.
Okay, I was about to say. I was like, wait, what war did I fight in?
It's about to happen. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, I was like, bro, this is definitely a different. I was like, we need to stop fucking with CERN. Hold on.
I'm saying, please stop saying stuff like that.
All right, go, yeah, because I'm like, the way the Mandela effects are going, I had to ask. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. All right,
who you telling?
World War II. I'm sorry, World War II veteran, but all of this stuff is with who they were, and they were considered an astute people, and it wasn't middle class; they were considered upper class. So when my dad met my mom, they were like, "What are you doing with that lower class person? She lives in the hood. That's not who we are." You see what I'm saying? So that part of me is like business, corporate, and it's like I fight between the two sometimes. But here lately, it's been I've done what I needed to do in that arena. So now I need to focus on the spiritual stuff and get myself straight in this arena, because if I don't, then what happened to them will happen to me. Which they befell a lot of things with regards to spirituality. They couldn't see it coming, but I can see it coming. But anyways, but that's the hard split. What I don't like about the whole thing of bloodline is they attach curse first. We don't attach curse. Curse has nothing to do with the bloodline. Curse is something far beyond somewhere else because someone didn't like somebody. So now they're adding that as, I don't like you, so I'm going to curse you. And now this is going to be for the rest of your life. No. Bloodline was based on, again, I go back to the belly. I go back to the cosmics. I would go back to where we landed in the belly. I go back to the nurturing there, the nature of what she was trying to do to birth us, and then it all happening. And that was the beginning of a great existence, or a great someone existing in the world, and that's greatness. Children are when I tell you they're the best when it comes to these things, because they do it and it's a raw thing. You could see it in them already, the things that they say, the things they do, the way they act. All of it is there, and it's all natural, and nobody's messed with it yet. You see what I'm saying? So that's why when you talk about the airbender, he's a child. Why? Because there's no inhibitions in his mind. When they say, this is what you do, this is what I do. And they practice it, and before you know it, they come better. They come better, and then they become masters at this, because no one is messing with the mind of a child. That's why the children are always supposed to be protected. Yeah, they get off the cuff a little bit, but hey, this is a true them, or they're mimicking you. You see what I'm saying? So it's what we put into them is what we eventually will see. So I like the idea of having children around, because you can say, hey, this is, when they say, I saw this and it wasn't there, we don't say, no, that wasn't it. We know that there's some spiritual stuff going on. Let's cultivate this, because this is their ability. You see what I'm saying? So we don't toss that aside and throw it in the garbage. because eventually it'll hurt them, or later on they're going to try to ignore it, and it's going to be more and more prevalent, and it's going to become something that damages them as opposed to being a part of who they are or part of their bloodline. You see what I'm saying?
I got something I want to ask.
Mhm.
So, with us talking about the bloodlines, I feel like you or Mr. Impossible may be able to shine light on this. Now, with that, when you are born into a bloodline that has gifts, no matter how much things happen to where people are trying to suppress that, do you feel that at some point the bloodline is going to get reset? The people who have those gifts and everything are going to come up to where now they're going to fall back in line and do what the history was of that bloodline.
Yeah. If it bypasses, if you feel like it's bypassing you because you can't, like we said this earlier, it's going to eventually come out like a curse does historically. It's eventually going to come out in your children. It's the thing: are you going to can you recognize it when it comes out? And that's the part of you not ignoring what's inside of you. You see what I'm saying? That's why me and Mr. Impossible says, "Hey, dig deeper, go on the inside of yourself, look inside, because it's there, and don't omit it because it doesn't fit in society. Don't do that, because when you omit it because it fits in society, you just tossed it to the curb." And
now, how you were talking about, pretty much you would need a mentor. Now, if you end up years and years of going on, the bloodline has not been, the education of your bloodline has not been passed down to where you're unfamiliar with anything. Now, with it, you have the religion. Mr. Impossible, stop smiling. You know where I'm going. I'm like, so when the religion ends up taking over and phasing a lot of these ideologies out, and now nobody really is connected in that bloodline with what is in your bloodline. But of course, you have this great thing about grandparents, great grandparents, if they're still alive, they know. So when time is going on, and they start seeing, like, your great grandparents or grandparents start seeing these gifts in the younger ones coming out, and they're trying to inform you, but then you end up having mothers, fathers, someone else who's also in that bloodline trying to suppress it. How do you end up going about trying to get that mentorship when it doesn't seem like anybody, it doesn't seem as if, I don't want to say anybody wants to keep it going, but the few that possibly have the knowledge seem to be afraid to pass it on. I'm saying it seems to be afraid, Mr. Sigmuno.
Yeah,
your gift will make room for you.
And it has. And then the funny thing about it is, regardless of whether they want to see it or not, because my mom was that same type of person, but there was nobody there to cultivate. My great grandmother passed away, but she was the one that pulled my mom to her and was teaching her. And after my great grandmother died, everyone else that was trying to reach for something else did not drop everything in that they're supposed to. My great aunts, when they what they did is they dumped it all on their deathbed. I'm getting ready to die. I got to tell you something. That doesn't help me right now because I don't know how to apply this. You know what I'm saying? But they're dumping stuff and then they're giving you things and showing you, and this is what you do. And go talk to your other cousins since you know a little bit more about it. But I'm getting ready to go now, and I'm gone. So look at if we're talking specifically about you, you have Mr. Impossible, bro. This dude, I'm telling you, the shape and molds. When I enter into,
why are you looking like that, Impossible?
Hey, listen, I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. My queen just offered me a shot of tequila, and I was like,
bro, I was like, your eyes are so big.
I'm drinking red wine.
You don't want to mentor me?
I'm good.
Like, you don't want to mentor
so that's
me?
why I look at that, y'all. Apologies.
It's happening.
The timing.
It's happening already. It's happening already. You know what I'm saying? So it's either you accept it or you don't accept it. But I understand why it's hard to understand to it. and how to accept it, because it all around you, it was somebody was dipping and dodging. They weren't giving you information, or that when they did give it to you, they gave you the most prevalent information, which was Christianity, and it came in a form of. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And when that comes in and it rubber meets the road on that one, you again, the path less chosen, you will either run into somebody that is going to let you ride with it, or somebody that's going to turn you into Joseph and throw you in the pit.
Well, you already know who
Ma'am.
is above me, so you know how that went.
Ma'am.
So no, and when I say your gift will make room for you, again,
Agreed.
the coat of many colors, and he gonna be the one that's gonna get your family out of whatever it's at. So they can suppress it, they can choose not to teach it, they can ignore it, they can do whatever they want.
It's gonna come out.
The gift is gonna make room.
And that, how do I say that? Being told, yeah.
When she said the gift is going to make room, she just saying the same thing. It's just lying dormant. Your bloodline, those talents, those purpose, those gifts, they already reside within you. It's just you acknowledging that when it comes to fruition. Like, can you deal with that or not? The same thing Miss Sigma Uno just said. The only difference is it's lying dormant. That was coming between you right now, was coming between Queenie right now, was coming Miss Sigma Uno and Miss Sigma Uno and myself. They are all were dormant genes. They're all were things that were already lying there. Even when we were babies, they were already there. We just cultivated those things to where they are right now. That's it.
And you have to understand this as well. Our adversary designed for things to be the way that they are. They don't want us to fully. They don't want us to fully remember who we are, because it's a detriment for them. So all that they've done psychologically is to put you in a position to where they have that control. They put you in a loop, and they gave you what they wanted you to believe. So if you're stuck in that loop and you're only believing what they want you to believe, the minute you break out, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. But when you break out and you realize what their plan was and how you're broken out of it, you either run full-fledged the other way, which again, there's going to be times where in the back of your head, you're going to be like, well, what if I'm wrong? I've said it a million times. What if I'm wrong? Or what if I should go back to Christianity? But I knew better. You know what I'm saying? My mom snatched us out of there because of what one of her pastors said to her. Her pastor, when my dad died, she asked about resurrection. Now, everybody's read the resurrection stories. They laughed at her and said, we're going to get you some mental health help because, that's not really possible. She said, you've been teaching me this since I was a little girl. Now you're going to tell me that you don't believe this? My mom lost it, and she ran the other way, and she taught us the other direction. So again, when I left my mom's house, I was kicked out of 3 churches because of the way my mom taught us. And I had to come to a place to where I was like, I got to dumb myself down to understand what they're talking about because my mind is somewhere else. I've been taught something different, which everything my mom taught me was relevant because she was right. They don't believe what you teaching something that you don't really believe. Then what is the purpose of it? It's to perpetuate what the poison that they've implanted in our mind so we don't become who we actually are. You see what I'm saying? So the king, God you are, they don't want you to be that because when that happens, it's to their detriment. And it's not necessarily a physical battle. They've never fought us hand on physically unless what was it? It was
mental.
It's all been a mental fight, and it's all based on, hey, you're my slave and you have homage to me. And then they added the Bible verses to that to make you feel like if I don't obey these men, then I'm doing something against God. When the whole time the reverse is what you doing to them, what you do the least of them, you've done it to me. That's the reverse. So what they're doing to us, they've done it to our superior, our the Most High. They've done it to him. So now there's the consequence they have to pay. The karma they have to pay eventually. So, but when you break out of it, and there'll be a day that it comes when you fully break out of it. We're here to help you. I'm here to help you ease on into the other side, so you don't feel like, hey, I'm made a mistake. No, it's not a mistake. There is a
Nah.
full responsibility to your spiritual self, a full responsibility, and it flows with everything in your life. You see what I'm saying? It flows with
Hey,
everything.
I wanna play something real quick. Tell me if y'all can hear this real quick. All right. And again, I'm a little comical.
No.
Can't hear it. Okay. All right. So with it, she's saying she's like, my great grandmother passed it down. My great grandmother passed it down. My mama gave it to me. I'm like, bruh, that. I mean, granted, the song is talking about the ass that she has, but in the context of bloodline,
Lord Jesus.
like in the context of bloodline, I'm like,
No, you didn't. No, you didn't use that as an analogy.
no, I'm like the song, the way that what she's saying in the song. But I mean, it's a West Indian song, and we're known for having a big bumper. But anyway, I'm like with it, the way that it comes down in the bloodline, like how you're saying, you may have it, but at the same time, you may not be doing anything with it. It's still going to keep getting passed down, and somebody will end up doing something with it.
Yeah.
Check.
Yep.
That's why you're doing what you're doing now.
Right.
That's why all of us are doing what we're doing right now.
Right now. Exactly.
We're activating and taking back the bloodline. Again, okay, let me ask a question. If you're a god or a goddess, if you're a god or goddess, and you woke up and you realize that from 75,000 years ago, you were a god, and now you're in a human body, what would you say?
Fuck.
I would say that. I say it every day. Fuck. How do I get out?
So
how do I get
that's
out?
what we're all experiencing, right?
Right.
So those who understand that they are gods in man body and they are acting responsible in man body, they're using their bloodline to extract that from within them to utilize to the nature of man. They use it to enhance man. So if you're not doing that, then I know you're not really using the bloodline in which you came from, unless you're a demonic motherfucking devourer, mayonnaise, pure white Haiti tribe, the white Haiti tribe. Unless you're one of them motherfuckers, that's what it is. But for the most of us, we're only coming back because it's a cosmic consciousness that's being back aligned.
Right.
So us as indigenous people, when we realizing as indigenous people that you are a god, you are a goddess, that is your nature. You're supposed to move within that nature. When you realize that, and every individual realize that, what do you have to work for?
All right,
there's nothing
that,
to work for.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and we had a good conversation. I just looked at the time. I was like, oh, snap, crackle, pop.
Close it.
Yep. Because I was like, bro,
let me be last.
Yeah. We learned our lesson. You last, bro. you last with all due respect. Because we can't be sitting here and start speaking and be like, did this dude just? Are these mic?
I told you I live in the now. I'm right here.
Hey, Queenie, when I have it set up like this, do you mind if I end up doing this, or is that too much for you?
Oh, I don't care about that because then I can see other humans.
Okay, all right, cool.
I can see the humans I'm talking to.
All right, I'm gonna have you go first and closing comment. Well, matter of fact, your closing comments, gratitude, and what you learned. That's gonna be the closing comments. Go ahead and kick it, love.
Gratitude. So I am grateful that I was able to participate in this with you. I'm grateful that you invited me to participate. And what I learned multiple quotes. Aside from the YTT, but I learned multiple quotes. I'm actually gonna go look up who this man Anthony, Broader was.
Anthony T. Broader.
Anthony Broader, right?
Yes, man.
Oh yeah. So and then just hearing people's perspectives from growing up and how it changed their perception of how they want to move or what they believed in, and and going back, the importance of going back to reach into and tap into what is in your bloodline to be able to elevate yourself while also maybe needing to divert from it. But since it's
Yes.
within you, it's more elevation than diversion, if anything. So
Yeah.
I'm appreciative that I was able to learn that. And, just hearing you all speak about your thoughts and feelings on things, I appreciate it. I'm grateful for that. I try to live in gratitude, an attitude of gratitude. I love you. Do
All
y'all
right.
listen to Teeb and Key or whatever? What is it? Hold on. Chris and Teeb too?
Oh wait,
Yeah,
that was
that's it.
attitude and gratitude. Was that? I
An
thought it
attitude
was.
of gratitude. That was in the first one.
Yeah.
In order to be great, to be great, to be great, you must be
Mhm.
grateful. Yeah, Chris and Teeb. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I heard it come up a few times because I got it on my Londrell playlist. And so Londrell comes up. What is it? Not Melly Monaco. What's his name? The dude that does the I am wealthy. I am blessed. I am
Healthy, I
free.
am blessed. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Um.
It's an 8 minute. It's an 8 minute album. The whole album 8 minutes. It's just I listen to it when I get up to use the bathroom. And by the time I'm done brushing my teeth, washing my face, the album's
Yeah.
done.
All
But
right.
it's an awesome affirmations and manifestation album. I listen to it every morning. They have two more that came out, but those are just more just repeating things. They're not really more rap like the first one.
Mhm.
So,
Gotcha.
but
Put
Chris and
put
T,
it in the chat, Queenie.
okay.
Yeah, type it in the over there like where the comments is if you can do that so I can like pin it up on there so other people can see it also.
Are you talking about? Oh, I was finna put in a private
No,
chat.
no, I'm
Okay.
talking about in our messenger chat.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
Oh,
the
our
one
private
I mean,
chat.
view for the
the chat
view
was
for the
on
world,
Facebook.
view for the world. But I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
yeah, we can put it
send
down
it
here for
to
the
me.
world.
Yeah, for the world.
He's
For
like,
the
yeah, for the
world,
world.
Craig.
I want it as myself also.
To the world, Craig.
For the world, Craig.
Top flight security of the world.
Oh God. Yeah, can we
Oh,
not
but
say
I
that?
have to. I
Look,
have to connect.
I hate that
I
phrase.
can't.
I hate that. I
I
hate that.
can't put it in the chat for the actual stream itself because my YouTube account is not connected. But I did put it
Okay,
in the
Okay,
private chat, so you can add
okay,
it.
okay, cool.
Chris and T, gotcha.
I just put it in there.
All right,
So
cool.
it just posted up onto the YouTube and the Twitch and also the Kick as well. So it's on all three of those, and I'll also put it into the description when we end up getting there. But
Okay.
Mr. Sigma Uno, go ahead and hit us with
Okay.
yours. And Mr. Sigma Uno is still by you. Have her jump back on real quick once you're done.
She wanted me to. You want to? Yeah. So for me, I'm eternally grateful for this platform and for all the open-minded and like-minded people that we connect with on this podcast. What I learned, man, I, I learned. I learned about mostly what hit me the most was regard to the matriarchal uh, was what Queenie was saying with regard to suppression piece. I could never feel that. I could never feel the weight of that or the responsibility of that. So I appreciate you saying how that was and how that felt. And my goal is to. I have daughters, a few daughters. I love Miss Sigma Uno. I love Anaya and Elise, and I don't want them I don't want that for them. So my whole thing is trying to make things better, but I know it's coming from under this whole society piece is the better way to do it. And believe you me, I'm working on that type of thing. So I that's what I learned, and that's what resonated with me the most. And of course, the impossible. Always learning from always learning from Big Bro over there,
Mhm.
and just really connecting with the cosmos and understanding who we are and staying in that mindset or when we need to be in that mindset, and also the divide of how we're going to deal with this world and as it is, and teach as many people as possible, and bring them to this understanding that they are. And we got you. We got you, Danley. Come on, bro. We're here. We got you.
I'm sorry. I've been sleeping a lot. It's taking a toll on me. It's taking a toll on me. So I wake up and I'm like, shit, y'all been going at it.
I look at Danley now. They like watching a girl trying to get into that double dutch room. Am I?
Yeah.
I knew it. When my brothers call upon me, I am there. When my sisters call upon me, I am there.
I'm there. That's it. That's it.
Mrs. Sigma Uno.
On the curve. Grateful to be on the curve. Grateful to be on the curve. Everybody's on a learning curve. I'm grateful.
Oh, okay. Curve. You said curve. When you said that, I just imagine you sitting there swinging your legs. I was like, what?
Yeah. On the curve. On the curve.
Look. I'm partially deaf in my left ear. I'm
Well, switch ear to the right.
I have to swing that rope
Yeah.
a little harder.
I was like, on the curve. I was like, what? I was like, blink twice if you need help. Blink twice.
I'm sorry. Continue.
Again, it's a journey. It's a journey that you elect to be on. You are choosing to acknowledge things that you cannot see, touch, feel, taste. You are choosing to engage in a sense that is not commonly acknowledged. And for that, I give a great admonishment for anybody that is on this journey, because it's not an easy road and the gate is not straight. You're gonna climb some hills, take some turns. There is no set direction to it. There is no recipe there. So nobody could give you a cookie cutter. You was not gonna come up with a gingerbread man. Okay? But there are people along your way that will help you to get to your destination, because your destination is not my destination. It's not impossible. It's not Queenie's. Your place is your place. And you will let your lights shine in that place, and you will draw who is supposed to be drawn to you in that place.
Yeah. Check. Snapping on them. Not my, snapping on them, Miss Sigma. No, snapping on them. Snapping on them.
Blessings.
All the time.
All right. The long awaited.
It's always a gratitude to be a part of this platform. I appreciate you for when you even first invited me on here months back. And just being here with you all, it's a grateful moment in life, because now is all we have. So to just know that now is all we have, and I'm about to be 50, so I'm doing a lot of reflection right now, and I'm telling you right now, what I learned: if you ain't motherfucking loving life right now, then fuck you. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't loving that shit right now, nigga, fuck you. Now, I'm sorry. You can edit that out if you like. You can edit
No. In all honesty, I see that being a clip, bro. I see that being a clip.
You know what I'm talking about? Like,
I'm making that a clip, and I'm sending it to you.
That's on the T-shirt. I got you, bro.
Right now. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm just saying, thank you for everybody who is willing and brave enough to share their own mind, their own spiritual journey about what they're going through, and able to share it with the world and notice to be critiqued, whether they like it or don't like it. So thank y'all for being brave enough to come along this panel and do what y'all supposed to be, and doing it at a high level. I appreciate y'all for that. Thank you.
Appreciate you too. When you turning 50?
On the 16th of May, goddammit.
Get out of here. That's my birthday.
Oh, you're a Taurus?
Who?
Oh my, that's my birthday.
Your birthday?
Oh, really?
How the hell? I'm turning
Wait a minute.
50
Hold on. Get the fuck out of here. Wait a minute. Are you telling me next Thursday?
Hold. Let me do my gratitude and what I learned, and then we can talk offline. All right?
What's that?
Yes.
Oh, this about to be some fucked up shit.
Where am I?
Not some fucked up shit.
Oh God! All right. Anyway, I am grateful.
He said we about to do some
Oh,
other
no,
bullshit.
no, no,
Like
no,
what?
no, no. I'm grateful for all y'all. God damn, I can see the shenanigans about to happen. Um, I am grateful. I am grateful. I am grateful for all y'all. I'm grateful for wake. Did I sleep? I'm grateful for waking up when I woke up. I learned a abundance. I don't even want to say a crap load. I learned an abundance tonight. That's every time that I jump on with y'all, I'm constantly learning, and that's the reason why I had to start bringing the notebooks. I learned that not necessarily just today, but I learned from doing this. I was out of place in a lot of places that I was, and coming on doing my platform and having other individuals on here, it showed me that now I'm in the right room. If you understand what I'm saying,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
like a lot of things that I was going through was because of the fact that I was bored and I was not getting what I needed. And now being somewhere to where I have these voluntold mentors, like I didn't even ask y'all, I was like, I'm under your wing, like, what's good? Hello, how you doing? Tell me about this. So, and constantly learning and having individuals who hold me accountable to these things as well. It's changing my life. It's changing my life via the way that I look at things by first changing my mindset, which is crazy because I had did a podcast in the past where it was when I changed my mindset, I changed my life. And it's constantly going. A wise man is the one who knows that he knows nothing. A fool is the one who thinks that he knows everything. And so therefore realizing like, you know what, I know some things, but there's a lot of stuff I don't know, and being around other individuals who know a lot of stuff that I don't know, I'm like that helps me grow because I was in places to where I knew a lot of, and then the people around me knew a lot of stuff as well. But the stuff that they knew was things that I already kind of understood, and it was things that would do nothing for me. And what I mean by that is it would do things for me, like get me in jail, get me killed, get me in
Oh
fights,
my
things along
god.
those lines. But it wouldn't be anything that would do anything any good for me. They say knowledge is power, and now I'm around. I feel like I'm constantly running across a lot of people with power. The knowledge that they have is something that is changing my life and those lives around me based off of the way that even if things that they say does not pertain to me right then and there or does not pertain to me in general, I'm able to pass those same words on to other individuals that I run across, and it's changing lives of people that I don't even know.
Mm.
And with that, I'm grateful for that. And now, what I learned today, I never thought about the weights that women hold on their shoulders. Thank you, Queenie. Looking
Mm-hmm.
back, my mom, my sister, all the diseases and things that they're holding on to that they refuse to talk about, that they refuse to let go. I learned more about my mom by bringing her onto this platform than I've learned throughout my life living with her.
Mm.
Being able to open up and talk about things. And I was just like, I I didn't know that. I was like, it explains a lot on why you did this, this, and this, and this. I learned things about my bloodline that my mom was keeping from me
Mm.
by having her on this platform. And I'm like, the way that women will literally move in silence for what they believe is the greater good and to keep that peace of those around them. I'm just like, shit. I'm a weenie compared to y'all motherfuckers. Like, I mean, and it really, I already really respect women, and that just really made it to where I'm like, we really need to elevate y'all because with everything that goes on, especially like how a lot of these females are acting these days, I feel like ultimately they just need somewhere safe for them to be able to let these things go because you look around in the world and see how a lot of these guys are acting. Women don't have anywhere to where they can really kind of just be themselves. They have to constantly be tough in the streets, at home. It's almost like they're taking on the roles of everything. And it's just like, whoa, we are literally killing our women.
Literally.
So I mean that is the biggest thing that I took from today. And I mean, going down with the bloodlines, I'm like, I wish that more people would tap into who they truly are, so that way we can start changing things of how they are currently. Because when people are sitting here and refusing to be who they truly are and accept to what they need to be doing, they're hurting the rest of the world. These gifts that we have, these things that we know, the knowledge that we carry within us, that we feel crazy to talk about because the society has made it to where it's not normal to talk about things that are good for us. They made it to where it's not normal to talk about things that are killing our mental health. And it's only killing our mental health because we're afraid to speak about it, because then we are going to be looked at as crazy, like how Mr. Sigma Uno talked about earlier. If you know better, do better. And that's the biggest thing that I want to end with today. If you know better, do better. Listening to the things that we listened to today on this episode, we now know better, so we need to do better.
Let's go.
And with that, that was an episode of Divine Time. Thank y'all for joining in. Like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do, whoop-de-woo. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in.
Crap. Lock.